Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's had a blessed day. It's been a while since I've been on here, and my grandson told me, said, Grandma, these people are wondering what's happened to you. And I said, well, I'm trying my best to get on, but it's been one thing after another since Christmas. Of course, a lot of you know that I hurt my leg on a ladder and had to have 7 stitches in it. And since I'm a diabetic, they was afraid that wound wouldn't heal good enough, so they've been watching that. I've been having wound care ever since that happened, and this is going on 6 weeks, but I'm hoping next week they let me go. But anyway, I've been having to go to the doctors and have that checked, and then I turned around, and when I was 8 years old, I broke my front teeth, and they put epoxy in it and make my teeth look the best they could. Well, the other day I was eating ice and I broke the epoxy in between my teeth. I think that's what it's called. And I broke that, and I had to go to the dentist, and so they've started on my teeth, and it's just been one thing after another. And then I got up one night, I went to bed and went to sleep, and I heard something, just a beeping and a beeping and a beeping. And I went in the kitchen, and my stove turned its own self on. These new fandangle electric stoves that they put in, sometimes you kind of get aggravated at them, and it said to unplug it and plug it back in, and it'd stop the beeping. Well, it didn't stop the beeping. As a matter of fact, it just made it worse, and my oven come on by itself. And I told my daughter, I said, look, Laverne, I said, there's no way I can go off or do anything, thinking that my oven at home might have come up on its own. So we went down and picked me out an oven. I haven't got it delivered yet. So it's just been one thing after another. But God has been good to me. There's been nothing that the Lord hadn't helped me with, or God hadn't been there. He's there all the time, and I don't know what I would do without the Lord. And anyway, we've just been piddly-paddling around here, and they wanted me to sit down so my legs wouldn't swell so bad. So I've been sitting a lot, and I've sure got tired of that. But anyway, they told me not to climb no more ladders, so I'll try my best not to, but I ain't making no promise, because I don't like the story. And when my stuff gets to needing dusting, I want to dust it. But anyway, I hope you've had a blessed time, and I hope that everything is going your way, and God has really blessed you. I got to thinking today, I was wanting to think of something I could say to you, to talk to you today, and I got to thinking about one of my little nephews, and his name was Garwin, and he was born on Valentine's Day, and he has been a real sweetheart. We lost Garwin a few years ago, but his memory lives on, and I wanted to tell a little bit about Garwin. He was a special child. He was born, and he learned to ride the tricycle, and when he was real little, he done pretty good functioning, but his muscle would turn to bone. And but he was a special child. He always talked about the Lord and how he loved the Lord and how good God was to him. And he made a great example and made a great impact on many people. I remember that he had, some way he had gotten contact with President Reagan at the time, and President Reagan had a letter wrote up for Garwin and mailed it to Garwin's house with a picture of him in it. And of course, that was a treasure to Garwin. Then there was some of the cowboy cheerleaders with the team in Dallas, I believe is where that team come from. And they showed Garwin special honors and talked to him on occasions on the phone, and some of them even went by his house one time there in Austin, or his Buddha is actually where he lived. And but anyway, Garwin made a special. It just something about Garwin. He just touched your heart. I always felt like, that the way he loved the Lord and he talked about God and how good God was to us and everything. I thought someday God will heal him. But God never did heal Garwin. but he had such an effect on people's lives that you can't just overlook the fact that Garwin was here and Garwin is gone. He had an effect on everybody that knew him. His life was just so different. I remember as a boy, he was growing up, and he loved the other little cousins that he had. He wanted to hold them and he wanted to play with them, but his muscles in his body was turning to bone, and eventually he got to where one of his arms was up here like this, and he couldn't put his arm down. Well, he couldn't hold little children, but he wanted to so bad. He loved the little children, and he'd talk to them, but he wanted to hold them and love on them and everything, but he never got to because of his condition. And I think back of several phone calls that I got from Garwin over the years, and I'll never forget one phone call. Every morning when he would get up, he would think of something that he was thankful for. And that morning he called me and he said, Aunt Betty, said, I was just thinking today, we're so blessed that we have salt and pepper. And I kind of laughed, because Garwin was thankful for salt and pepper. And he said, how would our food taste? It'd be so bland if God hadn't give us salt and pepper to salt and pepper our food and make our food better. And there was just things like that he always done. And when he would go to get in a car, he couldn't sit straight up in a car. He would sit in one seat, but he had to lean over into the other seat to get anywhere. And he was an only child, so they had a whole back seat they could put Garwin in. And there were just different things. He as the years went by and Garwin got older, well, they pulled his teeth because he couldn't open his jaws because his jaws had turned everything in there, the muscles and stuff had turned to bone. And he'd take a little bit of food and cram it in his mouth to eat it. That's how he had to eat. But you didn't hear him complain. All he would do is tell you something that God had blessed him with. And I'll never forget, he learned this song, I Can Only Imagine. And if you haven't heard that song, you need to find it and listen to it. But he talking about what heaven would really be like. I can only imagine. And his whole life was I can only imagine, because there was so many things that went on in his life. But he loved the Lord. He was always faithful to church, and he done what he could for church. And he was just a special child. And I'll never forget, he told me one time, he said, Aunt Betty said, I overheard some of my family talking one time and said, I heard them say that Garwin won't live but to be about 14 years old. Said if his lifespan lasts till he's 14, he'll be doing real good. He said, so I always thought I dreaded the day I turned 14, because I knew the day I turned 14, I was going to die. And he said, I had that dread that the day I turned 14, that'd be the day I died. But Garwin was blessed. He lived to be 43 years old, I believe it was. And he lived all that time, and he got to see a lot of his cousins, and he got to go to church. And I'll never forget the day of the funeral, that when we got ready, they was getting ready to dismiss, they turned on the answering machine recording that he had on his phone, and it said, hello, this is Garwin. I hope you're having a nice day, but I can't get to the phone right now. But if you'll leave your name and number, said, I'll call you back. And if I don't call you back, said, I'll talk to you in a few days, and you have a blessed day. And of course, it was just like he was preparing to let us know that he was going on to be with the Lord. And they buried Garwin, but we've never forgot Garwin. Garwin was a special young man in all of us' life. He touched us. He always had something good to say, and he always wanted to please the Lord. And that's the way we should be today. Our lives should be an example to others, that they might see something in us that makes them want to serve the Lord and live for the Lord, and know that God is our Savior, and that anything we need, we can call on him. And I want to sing a little song. I'm being grandma again today, but I want to sing a little bit of this song to you. It goes like this. Just wanted to tell you I'm thankful for all that you have done, for the stars and the moonlight and the setting sun. Now when my work down here is through, I'm coming home to be with you. Just wanted to tell you I'm thankful, that's all. You keep your chin up, live for the Lord, and have a blessed day. And we'll try to see you sooner this next time if we can get all this stuff aside and get to where we can visit. Have a good day. Bye.